Welcome, everybody. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. We had a little bit of a rough go of it this morning, but I think we're back on track. So today we're going to be talking about the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. We're also going to be talking about the 3D Dainty Diamonds folder and letting this be the main piece of the card using foil cardstock. So this here is the red and green foil sheets that is available in our new August to December 2020 mini catalog, aka the holiday catalog. And I didn't get a chance to finish these cards before I went live, so let's finish them together. But yeah, so I temporarily moved my crafting location so that I could use this machine without my camera shaking. So we're going to give that a try and see if that works today. Let me go through the plates with you and where you can find it in our catalogs. One thing I did want to say is if you do not have a catalog, if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you need catalogs, if you need the annual catalog, if you want to see the holiday catalog, which we now call the mini, I will be happy to send those to you. Just let me know. You can either message me, email me, whatever works, okay? So let me go and show you. This is our annual catalog. This is for the 2020-2021 Stampin' Up! Year. So it ends on May 3rd, 2021. If you go to page 170, there are a few pages that will walk you through we're talking about this one here. So the one in the lower corner right now. Okay, so that is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You have your item number here. There's some information. Let me move this banner. So you have some information here. So it is 6 inches wide, the platform. I was just talking about that the other day. Now, when you buy this machine, you actually get plates that come with it. And I'm going to go over that with you too really quickly. So let me just show you. Okay, so here, I had to move my lighting around and it's looking a little rough. Okay, so they explain all of the plates that you can use. So it's the very next page. So 172. These are the machine tools, right? So you're going to get your base plate and your die plate pack. Okay. You also get cutting plates. You also get let me see, it's the number 4. I believe it's this one, the specialty plate. Okay. So on this side, they're talking about the mini, okay, and which is not available yet. You can check it out in the catalog. I'll let you know as soon as it does become available. But for now, let me show you these plates. But if you ever needed to do any reorders or anything like that, they're right here on page 172. But when you order your machine, you're actually going to get the following plates in the pack, okay? So you're going to get your base plate, which is plate number 1. You're going to get the die. I don't know if I'm saying this right. We'll call it the number 2 plate so that I'm not mislabeling it, but it's called the die plate pack. So base plate and die plate pack. That would be these two right here, but they automatically come with your machine. And then you're going to get the cutting plates. Okay, so those are both going to be numbered number 3. Okay, and then you're also going to get number 4, okay, which is the gray specialty plate. Okay, so I just wanted to show that to you. This is the plate pack that comes with your machine when you order it. And then from there on out, you would order whatever plates you need. One thing that I did want to mention, I have not gotten it yet, but I'm going to order it, is the magnetic cutting plate is now available. Okay, so that is also on page 172. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the sandwich. Okay, so whenever we're going to do the sandwich, they actually, right on your very first plate, walk you through your different sandwich options. Okay, the most common one I would say would probably be the one where you're die cutting, but a lot of people do embossing as well. So there is the standard embossing folder, and then there is the sandwich for the 3D embossing folders, which is what we're going to be working with today. Okay, so the Dainty Diamonds is a 3D embossing folder. And what that means is the folder itself has a really nice deep impression to it, but the folder itself is thicker than a standard embossing folder. And because of that, it's going to change your sandwich. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your paper right inside the embossing folder, and then you're going to put your number 4 plate right on top. So number 1, your 3D embossing folder, and then number 4, and then you run it through your machine. So we're going to do that, but before we do, let's cut up some paper. You will also get this guide whenever you receive your machine, and it will walk you through the dimensions, just a little quick start reference if you need it. But again, your instructions are going to be right on the plates themselves. All right, so the cards that we're making today with the red and green foil sheets that have been embossed with the Dainty Diamonds, we're going to recreate that. So we are going to take a sheet of the Whisper White. All right, we're going to do the same thing that we did when we were working with Peony Garden, if you're familiar with those measurements. So we're going to take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of the Whisper White cardstock. We're going to cut it at 4 1/4. I should just score it before I cut it, but it's okay. So we end up with 2 cards here, and then I'm going to score them at 5 1/2. I want to make sure I don't cut that. So here's our scoring tool. We have our card bases. Now, the next thing we're going to do is work with our foil sheets. These are gorgeous, you guys. Just absolutely stunning. So here's the red, and here's the green. So, so beautiful. I have some pieces that are already cut up, so we'll work with the smaller sheets. And we'll save these for later. Okay, so our layering pieces are going to be, oh, and before I get into all this, let me show you where this is. So the mini catalog that I was talking about. Okay, this is the August to December 2020 mini catalog. I'm going to go straight to the back, which is page 79. There's an index back here. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because if you look under the designer series paper, you can see here are the red and green foil sheets. It tells you what page it's on. But they also show you the brush metallic cardstock. So any of the, foil sheets or metallic cardstocks or anything like that that are going to be gorgeous to work with your embossing folders, I wanted to just point out quickly, but you can find it on page 22. You get 2 sheets of each, 12 by 12 in the pack, okay? So we're going to cut this one down to 4 inches. by 5 1/4. We're going to do the same thing with green. These are definitely true Christmas shades. Okay, so 4. By 5 1/4. Okay. So let's do green first. I'm just going to make sure I lay this down evenly. The great thing about the Dainty Diamonds is that it has these little, looks like plus signs almost. So we can use those lines as a guide to stay straight. Okay. I'm going to take my number 1 plate. I'm going to take my number 4 plate. And let's run it through. Camera shaking a little bit, but nothing like it would be on the other table. So that's great. Okay. All right. And so what we end up with is this. I mean, just stunning. So here is the wonder of the season. This was the one that really captured me when I was going through this catalog in terms of like really that feel of Christmas. So we're going to be working with that suite. I'm going to be doing we're going to be using this North Pole stamp along with the reindeer. Okay, so we're just going to do some die cutting with the die cuts that come with this. So the one in specific that I'm working with right now is the Wishes and Wonder bundle. And you can find that on pages 30 and 31, the suite, and then of course the bundle. So we're going to be using a few of the elements here. So when we're die cutting, and we'll cut the reindeer first, I'm using cinnamon cider cardstock for the reindeer. Let me sorry about that, you guys. We're going to change our plate system here. So we're still going to use our base plate, and we're going to do the 1, the 2, and 2, 3 plates for die cutting. So I can eliminate the number 4 plate. We don't need that. This is what our sandwich is going to look like. 1, 2, 3, and 3. Our die cut in our paper is going to go in between the 2, 3 plates. So let's take our deer, our cinnamon cider cardstock. You're going to take the cut side, which are your lined images here, okay, and you're going to put that face down. So you want the one that's just smooth to be facing towards you, the side that's smooth, okay? And then I'm going to set it right inside here. There are 2 different reindeer that you can cut. You can cut this one, which is literally just a die cut reindeer, or you can stamp and die cut. They have a detailed reindeer stamp, which is also equally fabulous. Okay, so I'm just going to run this through. You don't have to run it through twice. I'm just backing it out because I don't want to run the whole piece through. All right, and then we have our reindeer. Isn't he fabulous? I've used him a couple of times now. I just really love him. I'm going to do the detailed deer too. the next thing that we're going to be doing is doing some die cutting to frame and then stamp this Made in the North Pole. So we have 2 dies here. We have this one, which is going to be the layering, the outer part. And then we have this one, okay, which is what's going to cut out our stamped image. This is the shaded spruce. This is real red. I love them both. Okay. Real red and shaded spruce are part of the colors in this suite, so that's why I chose those. Okay, so now we are going to cut these out. My workspace right now is very narrow, but we're going to figure it out. I kind of wanted to do some layering with the foils in the embossing folder. I just want to see what that looks like. Now, one thing that I will say is when you die cut an embossed sheet, you can lose a little bit of the design, but honestly, that's really holding up well. I think that's gorgeous. So let's see what that looks like with the red. I love that. I think that looks great. Okay, so I'm going to take our base piece. For the sake of time, you saw the measurements and how I put the card together here. Okay, so we would have these, we would fold this and we would adhere the foil sheet right to the base, but since these are already done, let's just jump to this. And we have our express delivery Made in the North Pole Reindeer Air Freight. Okay, and we also have our reindeer. So let's think about the positioning for just a second. He's so cute. So I was thinking maybe of having a little strip of something down here. Let's take a look. The Wonder of the Season suite has so many fabulous different paper, designer series paper elements that you could use with your cards. I just think that they are stunning. These are double-sided. Okay, so that's really pretty. All right, so let me just take a look. I mean, one is more gorgeous than the next. How do you choose? Now, there are also diamond patterns in this paper, which is pretty cool. We could do the holly. Holly is kind of standout-ish. Maybe we'll go with this one. So I'm just going to trim this down quickly to, let's do an inch, maybe 1.5 inches. And then we'll cut it down to 4. think what I would do is put him up on an embellishment just to separate him from the layer a little bit, just because we have a lot of pattern going on. And let's see. Okay, so we get some fabulous embellishments called the Wonderful Gems. This comes as part of the suite. So I'm just going to set those there. We also get this gold cord. Okay. Now, one thing that I am going to add in that is not part of the suite are these Jingle Bells. They're pretty cool. I'm going to take a gold Jingle Bell. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that gold cord. We don't need a lot. I'm going to string my bell right onto the cord. And then we're going to wrap it around our reindeer. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of his neck. Okay, and now I'm just going to wrap it. Can you tell I like decorating the reindeer? I did this on another card where we were doing the border punch technique. But I just think that that is so cute, you know. So I'm just going to take a little bit of excess cord off. And if you want to give this, you know, a little extra bit of security there on the back, I would just take another little piece of tear and tape or whatever adhesive you plan on using and just maybe reinforce it a little. Okay. So because this is actually going to go up on dimensionals, I don't even need to remove that. That can just stay like that. Okay. So let's go ahead and assemble our card. Now, if you want to add in some of the gems, I think the red ones would be just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so right in the center of the diamonds too. That would be so pretty. So maybe one up here. And then we can do a larger gem down here. And of course, you could do as many of those as you were comfortable with, but if you were to get this card in person, wow. I mean, the shine on that just really... yesterday, I was working with the Wonder of the Season suite, and I'm going to continue with that suite today. Let me just show you what this looks like. Okay, so this was totally experimental for me. I don't usually make treat boxes from scratch. I usually will use like a die cut template that turns into a treat box, or I will purchase the little treat holders. I don't usually make them from scratch, but I did do that today. So we're going to see how it turns out. So this is what it looks like. Okay. And then this is what the back looks like. I didn't decorate the back. But basically it is 2 tags. So this die right here. Okay. 2 tags. And then we just used some Whisper White cardstock to make this little square base. And the concept is you can put something in it. I have these little hand sanitizers that we recently got from Bath and Body Works. This is pumpkin cupcake, but of course you guys know how much I love the food gifts and the little chocolates. So of course you could do something like that too. It's like a cord but it's metallic gold. And then we also have this gorgeous ribbon here. Okay, and then this is in the shaded spruce. All right, so we're going to be using a few of the different elements today. So let me show you what I sort of had in mind. So of course you can put this right in here. You can string this here. I didn't know if I could actually get that thicker ribbon through this little hole, but we're going to find out. Okay, so let's go ahead and recreate this project. So using your papers, what you could do, if you would like to emboss some of the red and green foil sheets, you could do that. But I did want to mention the red and green foil sheets are not part of the Wonder of the Season suite. This would be an add-on. So just to keep that in mind. If we're going to stick with the suite, let me show you. We were working with that yesterday. Let's do a red version because we did a green version here. And then I'm going to show you a few differences with the ink and the stamping so that you can see what that looks like too. I really like this one, but let's just take a look and see. I like this one too. I like them all. We'll go with this one for now. Okay, so I'm going to get my cut and emboss machine, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to be cutting 2 of these. Okay, so let's do. I'm going to try to do this in a way, and just remember your die goes face down. So it will be cutting into the paper down onto the plate. Trying not to shake the camera. Okay. All right, so we have one, and you can see that that die cuts the little hole for the tag in there too. And of course, if you just want to do tags and you don't want to do a little box, a tag box, all of these designs will apply to just the tag too. I'm just going to feed this back through. Okay, so I have my 2 tags. All right, so the next part of this is going to be creating the base of your box. Okay, so that's this piece right here. What I ended up doing was, let me get the paper trimmer out so that you can actually see the measurements right along with me here. Okay, so I ended up doing 4.5 inches in length. I did 3 inches in the width. And then for the width part of it, if you guys can see the scoring there, I'm not sure if you can. So for the scoring, I'm 1/2 inch in on each side where we're at 3 inches. So there's 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side. And then for the length part of it, it has been scored at 1 1/4 and 3 1/4 to give us this wider base. And I just wanted to have a little bit of a wider base in there, just to give it, you know, a little bit more so that you could fit a little bit more in here. So if you wanted to put like a little bit of candy and, you know, some kind of like a little mini gift, that you would be able to do that. I wouldn't do anything too heavy. You know, try to keep it a little bit lightweight because you don't want this to have too much weight on it, but something light, something small is going to be super cute. So we'll do this together. Okay. I'm going to cut at 3 inches here. This is Whisper White cardstock. You could use the extra thick too, probably. I haven't tried that. Okay. And now we're going to cut at 4.5. I'll do my cutting and then I'll do my scoring. Okay. All right. So going back to this side, the 3-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm just lining that up right here, making sure that it's all in place. I'm going to hold my paper. Well, actually, I'm going to move my cutter out of the way so that I don't accidentally cut my paper. And I'm going to score. So I'm scoring at 1/2 inch here. And I am scoring at 1/2 inch on this side. Okay. And then for this side, for the length side, we're going to do the 1 1/4 and score again. And oh, let me just keep going. We'll do 3 1/4. I'm just now realizing that that was not fully in the screen. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay. 3 1/4. And we're going to score again. All right. Now I'm just going to take my paper snips. We are going to cut onto the score line right here on the flap. And we're going to stop at the second score line, the cross score line. And do the same thing here, and here, and here. And this is going to be to help the box bend. And then I'm just going to miter these corners. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I didn't feel like I needed to miter the edge corners, but it's up to you. Whatever works for you. We're all just playing ultimately, right? Okay, and then we're just going to warm up our score lines. All right, and so we end up having this little box, and then this part here that is the little, like the open part of the square is where the tag is going to go. So we're going to put some tear and tape adhesive on this, and then we're going to add our tags. And this is what I wanted to show you for some of the differences here. So if you want to use your Stampin Blends, look at how fabulous that ends up looking. Okay, so this one I actually did the actual sleigh part too. I want to say wheels, but that is not right. What do I call that? But for the base, you know, I love the different color options. So this is the Shaded Spruce Stampin' Blend combo. This is the Real Red Stampin' Blend combo. And then this was Basic Black Light that I ended up using here. I used Daffodil Delight Dark for the gold that you see here, but on these two, I just left it alone. And then if you don't want to do that, if you want to just stamp the image in a color, you could do that too. So if you don't, this was stamped in Memento Tuxedo Black ink so that I could color with the alcohol markers. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to keep it really simple, this is actually just stamped in the Shaded Spruce. This is just stamped in the Shaded Spruce, and it looks beautiful. You know, you don't have to color them in. Here are some more of the sentiments because I'm going to be doing a bunch of these. Okay, and then here's what it looks like in Real Red. I did not get that sleigh perfect, so I would either put something there, like a little decorative element to cover that, or just restamp it. And then I wanted to show you this too. So this is what the stamp looks like. Like if you go right from the ink pad to your cardstock, and this is what it looks like if you stamp off. So I thought that was interesting because it almost looks like this is in bold and this is like the regular font. So just depending on the look that you want, this looks more bold to me, but either way, very clear to read and beautiful. This is just a little bit of a softer version of the Real Red. So that's one of the reasons why I like Stampin' Off. So just wanted to mention that. And then because these are tags, they have really cute dies. We were talking a little bit about the dies yesterday, and I just wanted to continue talking about that a little bit today because of the ones that we're going to be using today. But let's talk about the reindeer. So you can either cut the reindeer. Okay, so you can cut the 3D reindeer, which is its own die cut. So that's this one right here. So when you get your dies, they're going to be bigger. Okay, the larger reindeer is the one that you don't need a stamp for. It will just cut the whole reindeer. Okay, the smaller die, this one, and you can see this one is filled in, like this is a full metal piece, and this one is just an outline metal piece. And that's another way to tell you that this is going to cut a full image. And this is more of an outline. This is going to cut the outline of a stamped image. So this is the difference between the reindeer. But look at how cute they, I mean, either way, they're fabulous. I love the artwork on this deer and on the sleigh. It really has like a detailed, like vintage element to me. When I see this, I really think of like nostalgia. So I really like that. So I just wanted to point that out. We were talking about it a little bit yesterday, but I just wanted to show you that difference. And then this box here that we did shows the stamped image of the reindeer. And then I colored him in with the Cinnamon Cider Blends and the Cinnamon Cider Combo Pack. And so this is what the Cinnamon Cider Blends looks like next to just the Cinnamon Cider cardstock. So very similar, but just depending on the look that you want, you have those options. Okay, so on this one, since yesterday we worked with this die cut reindeer, today we're going to work with the stamped image. Okay, now you could even do the sleigh. Doing the sleigh would be nice too. So we could do the sleigh with our stamped sentiments, or we could do the reindeer. Again, do I want to do the reindeer and the sleigh, or would that be a bit much? I think that would be a bit much, especially if we're putting a sentiment here. And then this is like also a little tag. So if on the one side you wanted to have a sentiment and decorate it and everything, super cute. And then on the other side, you use the to and from stamp, which is this stamp here. Let me get it. Okay, the to and from stamp, which comes with this stamp set. I think I showed it to you yesterday, but let me show it to you again. Okay, so here is the stamp set. This is the Wishes and Wonder cling stamp set. And we have the to from option, the special delivery, and then we have the stamps here. So you could stamp your to from and put it on the other side so that the person who's getting this little gift knows who, knows who it's for. So I wanted to mention that too, because I love that little die cut piece. I think that that is so cute. All right. So anyway, let's finish up this project. Okay. So I just need, I'm going to take a chance and see if I can stamp this, even though it's already die cut. So we'll do this one too. How about that? And we can do color. We could do red on red. Or we could do the green on red. I like the red on red. What if we did like an all red version? Okay, so this is our real red ink pad. I may not get this perfect. And if I don't, I usually will stamp it and then die cut it. So we're just going to take a chance and see how we do. Oops. Okay, well, we did pretty good, right? Okay, and then let's do to and from. Super cute. So simple, but it is such a nice little stamp to have. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to put this right here. We'll do this one center, and then we're going to use dimensionals for our sleigh. So I'm just going to get some dimensionals out. All right, that looks good. And then on the back of the sleigh, I'm going to focus my dimensionals kind of like here-ish. So we'll focus on like the center part of the sleigh. I love that. I think that that is so cute. Okay, and then we would do our to from tag on the other side. But let's go ahead and string it. Just taking some of my gold cord here. I'm going to run it through. As I go through the other side like this. Okay, so it's through. I'm going to string this on. And then my advice would be not to string it until you have it filled with whatever's going in there. If you have family members who make fudge or I know flavored popcorn is like a big thing right now. Some people do like the Buckeyes, like candy. You know, everybody at Christmas has their thing, you know, that they either make or bake. And whether you're in person this year or whether you're mailing them to people, I just think that this is just the cutest thing. But I'm going to tie it just for the sake of this presentation. My loops are gigantic, but we can, of course, fix that. So let's rein that in a little. All right, now we're just going to tighten that up. And then we can trim off our bits, or you can have the bow. And if you're going to hang it on a tree, I have this little birch tree here I'm going to be like hanging it on. We could actually turn it into an ornament. So I'm going to do that. And then I would just clip off these, you know, the little extra bits here. But just for the sake of showing like the way that that would hang, like how cute is that? I just love it. I just love it so much. Now I wanted to see if I could get the really thick ribbon through. I don't know if I can. Now a solution to that, if you really want to use the big ribbon, would be you could make this hole a little bit bigger. If you have like a traditional hole punch, you could do that. But if you want to stick with like the die hole size, you can. I am going to try it. I don't know, but I'm going to try it. It's tight, but it fits. Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay. Now you could either just do like a single knot and just do like a decorative trim. I mean, look at that. That looks great. Okay. Or you could try to do the actual loopy bow. And this is what the loopy bow would look like. I did not give myself quite long enough tails for that. So I'm just going to do the decorative trim. And by that, I mean, I'm just going to fold that in half. I'm going to take my paper snips and snip it. We'll do the same thing here. You could probably cut it even shorter than this, but you have a thicker ribbon too, so they both work. They both fit. Fabulous. Okay, so let me know what you think of these tree boxes.